What's up, everybody? I'm in my tree. There's my crow familiar. Where is he? Let's see. He's just hanging out. I hope you can see him. There's a bunch. We're having a crow conference today. I'm feeling kind of crowy myself. I think it's a normal thing. I just dropped off my last magical friend at the airport after Shasta. I'm really gonna miss her. I have so many magical friends. That's the fun thing about coming out of the spiritual closet, is you meet like-minded, awesome folk. And this is actually the first video I've recorded, I think, since Shasta. So for all you guys who came, you're amazing, and it was so fun. I couldn't believe how awesome it was. Actually, I mean, it was pretty intense. And as we are discovering now, after the fact, I think there was a pretty good amount of things like missing time, strange events where part of you is in one dimension and part of you is in another dimension, still kind of working that out. It's interesting, and I personally had a lot of realizations on Shasta. Which brings me to the point of this video. I'm not exactly sure what it's going to be. I think I'll be rambling a bit, so brace yourself for the thought tangents that are about to come to you full effect here. But it's interesting because as we go into more of our power, especially now in October when the veil is thin, and which is one of the only times in the whole year that people, especially in Western culture, can identify with and bring forward the shadow sides. So that's why you've got so many bats everywhere, and you've got, I mean, on people's lawns, and you've got spider webs and huge spiders and ghosts and ghouls, and it's because people are like, oh, thank God we can talk about this now, because it's there, it's always there. And it's not good or bad. There's a bunch of epiphanies that I got this week along with my friends who are here with the retreat, and also people at the retreat itself, is that, you know, you can lead an existence that morality would call horrible. Like, people looking back through history, these people who have done terrible things. But the truth of it, and I know this might cause some reactivity. Oh, see, the crow's right behind me as I'm saying it. Must mean I'm right. Hey, dude. The truth of it is that everything is experience. And so your guides, since they are not physically bound, if you say, okay, I'm going to have experience filled with sketchy stuff and crazy things that crack my consciousness open in a way that causes damage because I just want that intensity, then they'll say, okay, and you'll get it. Or if you say, I want a really gentle existence with no anything crazy, just totally 3D based and working on survival and relationships with no esoterica involved, guides will say, okay, and then you have muggles, right? Which I say with love. Because there's really, if I could find another word than muggle, I would use it. But muggle seems to work, and everyone pretty much knows what that is because of the popularity of Harry Potter. Anyway, or you can have people who say, I want to grow, but I don't want to be cracked that much. And one thing that we were experimenting with this week was realizing how often a lot of us probably have been over time. And they'll back you up and erase a bit of your memory. And by they, I mean your guides, your angels, your ETs, all the above. And something that I was getting really fired up about today because of the crazy ET racism that goes on among humans, thinking that ETs are naturally something to be feared or fought, is that especially when remembering abductions, especially if your mind's been wiped, which almost everyone's is when they get abducted, you only get a snippet, and you only get a piece, and you can't remember the whole thing. And what I would like to remind you of is that, providing you share my thought process on this, which I know a lot of you guys do, it's my opinion that nothing's ever sprung on you ever. You always choose everything on some level, often before your incarnation. But especially if it's something like a lifetime full of abductions and upgrades, physically, which I will tell you about in a second, it's likely that you did choose it, and you just chose not to always necessarily remember fully because of things like cracking, you know? So what will end up happening is you'll, say, get regressed back. Say someone regresses you, and of course you go back to the most intense spot, and you wake up on this operating table. Well, if you were request back to an appendix removal surgery that you got one time, and you woke up on an operating table, and you didn't know what was going on because your memory had been wiped, and you might not even be in any pain at all. You might just be sitting there hanging out, but there are these beings standing over you with stuff and doing stuff to your body and lights, and you're stuck, and it's terrifying and traumatizing. But the healing part of abduction, where, you know, someone with cancer gets abducted and then later they don't have the cancer, things like that, is much less widely publicized. And also something that hardly anyone remembers is the conversation before the procedure, where you're asked if you'll agree, and you do choose the upgrade, because much of these procedures are simply upgrades. We chose to be alive during the shift. So things are happening on Earth and to our physical bodies that don't normally happen in physical bodies during one incarnation. We're being upgraded so fast, and we're going from one phase to another. And that's those of us who are aware of it. There are lots of people who are going through this and who just don't realize it, and who say, oh no, I always believed in this stuff and I always thought that it was open. And you might be talking to them and say, I call BS on that one, because I know that 2 years ago we were having this conversation and you said that none of it was real. So anyway, there are those people who aren't aware of the shift, but for those of us who are, we often need physical upgrades because more of our souls are coming into our bodies and we don't have the space, and our physical traumas are holding us back, and sometimes spiritual and emotional traumas from past lives and things like that are holding us back so that we don't have the space to fully unfurl. And so when you get these upgrades done, even though it's scary, you then all of a sudden afterward have so much more awesomeness in your life in a lot of ways, because you just had like blockages removed and stuff like that. Now, I can't speak for every single abduction. I'm not at every single abduction. I don't know what happens, and there are lots of things going on all levels all the time. However, I do think that if you are wanting to get more in touch with what's happened, it's probably a good idea to start requesting memories of what has previously happened, rather than saying, okay, the next time I want to remember. It's probably better to say, okay, well, show me what's already happened, then you'll start getting these flashes of stuff that's gone on, and you'll remember that actually you knew more. You weren't as, oh my God, victim, don't know what's going on, as you think. Because if you can remember how much you already know that's going on, your paradigms will drastically shift, and you'll be very different as a result. And that's something that a lot of people are really scared of, myself included. I can't even tell you the internal battles that have gone on over the past 10 years or so during my spiritual journey, and every time I'm going to get an upgrade to a different existence, both in my body and in my life, I'm like, I don't know, but I know this one. The new one might be better. And so a great loophole for that, I was just working with someone this morning, and I was telling her about it, and a good loophole is to say, okay, universe, guides, angels, ET buddies, whatever, I know that there's change that could happen, and I don't know what the change is, and this especially goes if you don't know what to request when you're doing your intention setting. I don't necessarily know what the change will be, but so long as it's awesome, and if I like it better than this one, I accept and bring it on. And that's a good way, because then it's not so scary to agree to changes, because you already agreed that you're only doing it if it's awesome. So, think about that if you want to be remembering more. And it's October, the veil is thin, darkness is around, and not darkness, darkness gets a bad rep. I'm not talking about darkness where you want to hurt anyone. I'm just talking about the aspects of personalities that are drier and more content and less judgmental. And I don't mean judgmental as good and bad. I mean judgmental as, oh, there's something there, I need to heal it for you. Rather than, oh, you're having that issue? Well, much love, good luck with that. But I'm going to stay over here doing my thing. And I'll love you anyway, regardless of whether or not you're having an issue. And I won't heal it for you, because that's your job. And I'm not the boss of you. So anyway, that was a bit rambly. There's lots more. There's lots to update you on. I'm still integrating a lot of it. So I don't know what I'm going to be doing in a month or two from now. But on that note, I'll show you my crow buddies again, because they're making so much noise over there. Let's see, where are you guys? What's up? They're so cute. Have a great Halloween weekend, y'all. It's a crazy time to be alive right now, so embrace it. Go with it. Own all the parts of you, and you'll see that nothing's as scary as you think once you turn around and look at it and say, hey, what's going on? Then you'll see that nothing can hurt you, because you're an eternal being. But anyway, much love. Go in peace. Talk to you soon.